Hello everyone. My name is Haekal Akbar. Thank you for coming to my presentation on my research about how can a novel social vulnerability measurement could contribute to disaster risk assessment. So, this research is actually my master thesis to get a master degree in engineering and policy analysis at TU Delft, Netherlands. And I work in this research with my supervisors, Tina Combs, Trivik Verma, and Bramka Havino from TU Delft and World Bank. So, just get started. So when you ask me what this research is actually about, basically this research is trying to develop an alternative methodology to measure social vulnerability using a different perspective, specifically in a more multidimensional perspective, and by seeing the different way to see the social vulnerability, hopefully we can create more details or more comprehensive assessment of social vulnerability for disaster risk assessment in a disaster management field. And in this research, we also explore any policy implication that we can get from the research, and hopefully research, this new methodology could enhance the sustainability for vulnerable groups, specifically by offering a more precise measurement of social vulnerability in the community. So the main problem that we try to answer in this research is basically when we talk about the social vulnerability. Social vulnerability is an important assessment when we try to see the real condition of the community in the vulnerable way. So there are many existing social vulnerability measurement or methodology that we can get today, but however, they could only give us the general condition or the general or the final index of the social vulnerability without really give us the details condition of any vulnerability dimensions that could play part or could construct the social vulnerability. uh, Understanding what vulnerable dimension that play part that construct the social vulnerability, it is important because by identify all the vulnerable dimensions and all the dominant dimensions there, we can really make a specific policy that target to those vulnerable dimensions that dominant in all the areas that we analyze. So understanding the problem, this research is trying to develop the alternative methodology that could also identify the vulnerable dimensions that construct the social vulnerability. So how is it? So because we believe that there are not only one dimension that dominant in each area that create the vulnerability of the people. So then we'll try to see the social vulnerability in the more multidimensional perspective. And here we use the concept of intersectionality. So to anyone of you that doesn't really familiar with this term, so intersectionality concept is basically coming from Kimberly Crenshaw, and she studied the struggle of black women in the United States back then, and the result of this intersectionality studies is that people with different compounded discrimination profile back then will have a different struggle compared to anyone with only one discrimination profile. And by seeing the social vulnerability from this perspective, we'll try to understand what kind of vulnerability dimension or what kind of vulnerability profile that specific communities has, and the difference between them will really plays part on understanding what the specific or the most suitable policies of reducing the social vulnerability, because if we only see the final index of social vulnerability in the communities with only the index score, we can really understand what the suitable policy on reducing the social vulnerability there, because we only care about the general condition without really understand what vulnerability dimension that dominant in this specific community. So that's the main problem that we try to answer in this research. And the methodology to do this research is, yes, first thing we do the literature review specifically to understand the social vulnerability concept and how we can incorporate the multidimensional perspective, the intersectionality theory to the methodology. And the second one is we try to design our methodology. We call it multidimensional index because here we specifically use the multidimensional perspective on seeing the social vulnerability, and then we test our methodology using the real social data on our study case, and our study case is Indonesia. We use the economic data, socio-economic data of Indonesia. We use the poverty data. We use all of the villages attributes in all of the areas in Indonesia, and then we use the demographic condition of Indonesia. And by using all of the data, we analyze them using our methodology to get the result of the social vulnerability. So when we see the result of the social vulnerability measurement that we have or we developed there, like what I've said before, using the methodology, yes, we get the final index of social vulnerability, but we're not just stop there, because we also defining all of the vulnerability dimensions there, and we also try to analyze them by measuring the scores or the index of each dimension there. So using this methodology, we'll get the vulnerability dimension indices. There are 7 dimensions that we believe plays important part in the social vulnerability or constructing the social vulnerability. There are economic, the environment, index or infrastructure, health and well-being, community, gender, culture, and also institutional dimension. So then we measure all of the vulnerability dimension, or try to get the index of all dimension. We aggregate them to get the final index of social vulnerability. And then the next step is we categorize them using the methodology of standard deviation, so we can differ each region there on what categories of each area will have. So yeah, we categorize them on 5 categories from high to low, and using the result we can analyze the condition of vulnerability in the social context in each area in Indonesia. So then in discussion conclusion part, here we try to explore what kind of policy implication that we can get from the research. There are 3 policy implications here that we get from the research. The first one is that by using this methodology and get the result of the methodology, we can make a policy prioritization using the vulnerability category. The second one is we can get we can make a targeted policy development for vulnerable hotspots in all of the areas in Indonesia. For example, like when we try to see which area that is more vulnerable compared to the other in the scale of that we're interested in. For example, we try to see in the city level. So using the result and the spatial analysis, we can analyze in which area that is more variables compared to the whole area of the city, or maybe in the different scale, province, islands, or even in the whole nation or Indonesia. And the last one is by using this methodology and get the result, we can make a tailored disaster management policies based on dominant dimensions. So for example, like we try to develop policies to reduce the social vulnerability in the specific sub-district. So then by using the result of this methodology, we can define first what dominant vulnerability dimension there. Is it economic? Is it built environment, gender, community, or the other dimension? or even the combination of them. So then we are when we identify all the dominant dimension, so then we can make a specific targeted policy to reduce the social vulnerability by targeting the dominant dimension in each subdistrict. And then when we talk about the value of the method of this alternative methodology that we developed, so hopefully this new multidimensional methodology ensures a proportional recognition of all vulnerability dimension. And this proportional approach is crucial for policymakers and practitioners because it offers the comprehensive and accurate assessment, hopefully, and it is essential for effective disaster management policies formulation for the future. So, yeah, basically that's all the my presentation. And if you're interested in discussing more about the research or the topic, you can contact me directly through my LinkedIn, Haekal Akbar, or through the email that you can ask to the committee of the winner. And maybe you can find my master's thesis report on the uh, repository of the that which I can send you if you ask me through of the channel that you can get me. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Hopefully we can get a better words through the research. Yeah, thank you.